So to undertake a project in a community where everybody, so much poverty, rape, or insecurity, or political marginalization or oppression, to undertake a project among young people where there's so much illiteracy, prostitution, then you are in the same boat with Moses. So you need to learn how to do it. You want to be a deliverer, there is a strategy to it. He said, when you get to Egypt, this is the first thing you're going to tell them. Introduce them to the one that made them. In the beginning, God. Let them start with God discovery. So sometimes we build institutions. It might be a school, because it's an academic institution. Some Christian proprietors keep away God. They want to teach the youths, the students, level 3. So now, if you add God discovery, you see you have 5 D's there. The D1 is download God into those young people. D2 is help them discover themselves. D3 is help them develop their capacity. That's where education comes. So education is a number. Just make classroom teaching is number. But education must start from number 1 and go all the way. D4, help them deploy all those skills they have learned and knowledge and potential into productivity. Then they will emerge in dominion. They will become head and not the tail. They will become leaders. They will stand out in their different spheres in their society. I sometimes see Christians, they will discover Jesus, but they won't develop their capacity. They won't go for it. So you see them underperforming. I sometimes see people getting all the education and the best training, but they remove God. They become intelligent demons. You bring them back, they have been to Harvard, they've been to Oxford, but see them doing corruption now. See them pursuing the massacre of human life, sponsoring terrorism, and you are wondering, this guy went abroad for education. What happened? He developed his head and ignored his heart. So God's nature, God's character is not in him. Satan's nature is in him. But he now has acquired functionality. He has a lot of knowledge. He can do certain things. So he will take what is meant to be good and turn into evil and be destroying life. He will be a criminal in government or a criminal in leadership. The character of love and compassion, the character of justice, the character of integrity is missing. He will come on TV and be lying to the whole nation. You are listening to a devil, yet he's very intelligent. Harvard has educated his head and ignored his heart. That's why today, the fourth education revolution is about building the total man. No child comes to your school and goes half-baked. You develop the spirit, you develop the mind and intellect, you give them emotional wholeness, you build skills and competencies, and you deploy them, and they will go and become first-class world citizens, world leaders. Why am I showing you God's blueprint? So you can take responsibility for yourself. When you analyze yourself, you see where the problem is. It might be character deficiency. The image is faulty. It might be identity crisis. You don't believe in yourself. You don't have image is faulty. It might be that you don't even know Christ. You don't know the one that made you. So you see, the download is faulty. You know, I can make it 4D and just make the D1, D1A, D12. Discover him first, discover yourself second. So whichever model you want to use. Because in discovery, there is first God discovery and now self-discovery. And self-discovery will be faulty. You will teach people the wrong thing. You see how they are telling girls now that they are now guys, and telling men that are women, even gender we don't know. There is a faulty problem. They remove D1. And now there is confusion. People that are asked to use steward products are now defining what the product is meant to do. No, you find out from the manufacturer. The user of the product is not what gives the product purpose. The manufacturer does that. He has an authority you don't question. If you want to be the one to determine purpose, create your own product. Until you make your own woman and man, then you can decide what gender they will be. Leave the one God made to be what it is. Did you hear what I just said? Clap well, oh, clap well. It's the manufacturer that decides the product, the purpose of any product. Because purpose precedes production. He knew what he wanted this product to do before he made it. So when you go to production, you design the thing with the shape and the capacity to accomplish that thing that you had in mind. That's why there is also a definition of purpose called the intention of the manufacturer for making a product. Purpose is God's intent for creating you. And purpose is what is in the heart of the manufacturer when he makes any product. Purpose is to be discovered, not to be invented. Purpose is to be discovered, not to be fabricated. Strategy, yes, you can create. Methodology, you can formulate. Purpose is your job to discover it. Because purpose was there before you were born. It pre-existed your creation. Hello. I say, clay, stop fighting with the potter. You can't fight your maker. That can only lead to self-destruction. You give him too much headache, he will mar the whole clay, turn you back to sand, create something else. Use the raw material to give another person meaning. Stop rebelling against your source, because father means source and sustainer. It's not just your manufacturer, it's the sustainer of the product. So when God wanted to create plants, he spoke to the soil to bring them forth. Let the ground bring forth plants. But you notice that for plants to survive, they need contact with the soil. Yeah, I know there are modern agriculture where we can hang the thing on air. But go inside and look, you see some form of soil and manure inside. So when he was making the animals, he let the earth bring forth all kinds of animals. So you see them in touch with the earth to feed, to eat, to survive. When he was making the fishes, he said, let the waters bring forth the fishes. Any source of anything is the sustenance of that. So the fishes came, but the fishes have to stay in fellowship with the water to survive. You want to kill a fish, you don't need to stab it. Keep it away from the water for too long. When he wanted to make the stars and the sun, he called them forth from space. So they need to stay there and keep interacting with those gaseous to stay. But when he wanted to make us, instead of speaking to the soil or any place, he spoke to himself, let us make man. Just like the woman gives birth to his children, and the children stay on the breast milk for sustenance. We were called out of God's womb, and we stay on his word, his nourishment for sustenance. Man shall not live by bread alone. It's his body that came from the soil that lives on bread. But the real man lives on what thus said the Lord. He shall live by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of God. Before our need for oxygen, we need revelation knowledge. Before our need for sunlight, we need revelation knowledge. Before our need for fresh air and wind, we need revelation knowledge. Before our need for physical food, before our need for a car, for clothing, for all of those, and for good shoe, we need the revelation of God and the revelation of his word, the revelation of principles. Without it, you starve and you die inside, even though your body is walking around, become a walking corpse.